The crystalline towers of New Centauri gleamed under 3 suns, casting prismatic shadows across the bustling marketplace where 100 species conducted their daily commerce. Ashley moved between tables with practiced grace, her violet skin shimmering under the artificial lights of the Cosmic Drift Cafe. As a Zelthari, she was accustomed to the stairs. Her kind were rare this far from the homeworld. Their natural bioluminescence, making them stand out among the galaxy's more mundane species. She barely glanced at the human, sitting alone in the corner booth. Humans were common enough on New Centauri, though this one wore clothes that probably cost more than her annual salary. Bruno Castellan, if the whispers from other patrons were accurate, was the CEO of Castellan Industries, the company that had revolutionized faster-than-light travel and made humanity one of the dominant forces in the galaxy. "Another coffee, sir?" Ashley asked, her translator implant rendering her melodic Zelfari speech into perfect galactic standard. Bruno looked up from his datapad, and Ashley was struck by the intensity in his dark eyes. Humans always seemed so alive compared to other species, burning bright and fast, like supernovas compressed into flesh. "Actually," Bruno said, his voice carrying that peculiar human quality of controlled chaos, "I have a different question. Would you be my wife for a single day?" Ashley's bioluminescence flickered in surprise, the Zelthari equivalent of a raised eyebrow. In her 3 years working at the cafe, she'd heard many strange propositions, but this was unprecedented. "I'm sorry, what?" Bruno leaned back, a slight smile playing at his lips. "I need a wife for exactly 24 hours. There's a contract clause, old Earth tradition, absurdly outdated, that requires me to be married to access my late father's inheritance. Specifically, his shares in the Andromeda Gateway project. Without those shares, the project dies, and with it, the hopes of connecting 3 galaxies. And you're asking a waitress?" Ashley's patterns pulsed amber skepticism. "I'm asking someone who, in 15 seconds of observation, demonstrated more integrity than anyone in my social circle has in 15 years. Bruno pulled up a holographic display. "You returned exact change to the Kryn family at table 7, even though their currency conversion was in your favor. You helped the elderly Thulian to his seat when his antigrav cane malfunctioned. And you didn't once stare at or comment on the Vexian's facial scarring." Ashley felt her bioluminescence shift to a soft pink, the color of being flustered. "That's just being decent." "Exactly." Bruno's expression grew serious. "The inheritance clause requires a marriage, but it says nothing about duration or authenticity of feeling. Just a legal ceremony and 24 hours of official status. I'll pay you 10 million credits. Enough to buy passage home to Zelthor, if that's what you want. Enough to never serve coffee again. 10 million credits." Ashley's mind reeled. She could return home, help her clan recover from the plasma storms that had devastated their settlements. She could fund the medical treatments her younger brother desperately needed. Why not someone from your own circle? Bruno's laugh was bitter. "Because everyone I know would see it as an opportunity, a foothold into my life, my company, my decisions. They'd fight the annulment, claim emotional manipulation, tie me up in courts for years. You have no reason to want anything beyond the agreed payment. And humans have a saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But sometimes, a stranger is the safest ally of all." Ashley studied the human before her. Humans were known across the galaxy for their peculiar mix of brilliance and recklessness, their ability to find solutions that other species deemed impossible. They'd gone from planetary infancy to galactic power in less time than most civilizations spent perfecting their first warp drive. One day, she said slowly, legal ceremony, legal annulment. 10 million credits transferred before the ceremony. Agreed. And one more thing. Ashley's bioluminescence flared bright blue determination. I want 5 million of it to go to the Gateway project itself. If it's worth doing this for, it's worth supporting. For the first time, Bruno's professional mask cracked, revealing genuine surprise. You'd give up half the payment, connecting 3 galaxies. That's not just your dream, Mr. Castellan. That's everyone's future. The ceremony was conducted by a bored magistrate, I in a sterile government office. The vows were perfunctory, the rings were simple holographic projections, and the entire affair lasted 7 minutes. Yet as Ashley spoke, the traditional words adapted across 1,000 cultures into a universal format, she found herself looking at Bruno with something unexpected. Respect. The 24 hours that followed were stranger than any sci-fi Hollywood. Bruno's lawyers descended like a swarm of bureaucratic locusts, filing forms, updating registries, transferring stock options. Ashley accompanied him to the Andromeda Gateway presentation, where her presence, the wife of the suddenly married CEO, caused enough of a distraction that nobody questioned the timing, but in the quiet moments between legal proceedings and shareholder meetings. They talked. Bruno told her about Earth, about standing beneath a single yellow sun and feeling both infinitely small and impossibly significant. Ashley described Zelthor's bioluminescent forests, where entire ecosystems communicated through light. You know what's funny? Bruno said as the clock approached the 24th hour. In trying to avoid a complicated marriage, I may have found the only person in the galaxy who actually understands why the Gateway matters. Ashley's patterns shifted to gold contentment mixed with sadness. And in trying to escape my life here, I've remembered why I left home in the first place. To see the universe, to be part of something bigger. When the annulment papers were processed, they stood together in the same sterile office where they'd been married. The magistrate AI processed their separation with the same bored efficiency it had processed their union. The 15 million is already in your account, Bruno said. 10 million as agreed, and 5 million more. Call it a wedding gift. The Gateway needs your support, but your family needs you whole. Ashley's bioluminescence cycled through every color in her emotional spectrum. Humans, she said, her voice thick with emotion, are absolutely insane. Bruno grinned that wild, reckless human expression that somehow contained both danger and hope. We prefer creative problem solvers. As Ashley left New Centauri on a ship bound for Zelthor, she looked back at the crystalline towers one last time. Somewhere in those towers, a human billionaire was revolutionizing galactic travel. And for one single, strange, perfect day, she'd been part of that story. The galaxy would remember the Andromeda Gateway. But Ashley would remember something else. That sometimes the most profound connections happen in the most unlikely circumstances. And that humans, reckless, brilliant, impossible humans, had taught the rest of the galaxy to dream bigger than any of them had dared before. After all, they were the species that had looked at the stars and said, "Not far enough." And in doing so, they'd pulled the entire galaxy forward with them.